40 years of the Reagan Revolution's libertarian experiment have brought us crisis and chaos. First, a couple of years ago, was Michigan's Republican governor replacing the publicly elected mayors in mostly black cities across, or largely African-American cities across Michigan, with so-called emergency managers, which led to the bankruptcy of Detroit, led to the Flint water crisis and other problems. Autocracy or oligarchy just doesn't work as well as democracy. But now the Republicans in Tennessee are trying it. This week they're trying a similar trick. They want the voters of the town of Mason, Tennessee, a largely black community, to renounce essentially their elected leadership. Well, this is what the headline at the Tennessee Lookout newspaper says. State officials asked residents of a small, predominantly black town near the site of a new Ford investment to forfeit their city charter or face takeover. What's happened is that the Republican Party has just gone all libertarian, all authoritarian, all top-down all the time. And, the question that I constantly put out to the occasional libertarian who's willing to come on my program, and they are few and far between nowadays, is please name one country in the world where libertarian principles have ruled, have reigned, and things have gone well instead of a disaster. I mean, I've seen countries where basically the only thing that works are the army and the police. I was in Uganda during the war to oust Idi Amin. I was in Colombia, in Bogota, when all the bombings were going on and kidnapping had become like a national sport. I mean, this was years ago, but I've seen what happens when civil society breaks down the way that, Ron Paul has been suggesting should happen in America for decades now. Back years ago, I was in Copenhagen and I asked, a conservative politician, I said, oh, you're a conservative. You must want to do away with Denmark's, single-payer healthcare system. And he was like, what, are you crazy? I mean, it's literally what he said. Are you crazy? This is what we get, right? I mean, Ted Cruz fleeing to Cancun a year ago this month because a big freeze came down and hit Texas. Shouldn't surprise us, right? Or maybe it was 2 years ago this month. I don't do time well. 1 year, yeah. Sean's pretty sure it was 1 year. But this Ron Paul back in the day during the presidential debates when he was asked, should somebody's ability to pay determine whether they get into an emergency room? And he was like, yes, that's what freedom is all about, taking your own risks. Right. And this is what Texas did when they split their grid away from the rest of Americans. And, on it goes. I mean, libertarian ideology, which is driving the Republican Party, the whole Libertarian Party thing was created back in the 40s by a real estate lobby that wanted real estate deregulated. And so they came up with this fancy-sounding political party, the Libertarian Party, and said, this will be our front group. This is, and they've been the front group basically for billionaires ever since. And, it's why David Koch ran for vice president on the Libertarian ticket in 1980, a billionaire. And, on a platform of end Social Security, end public education, end Medicare, end the transportation department, privatize our air traffic control system, privatize everything. Except for the Army and the police. And hell, they've been privatizing the Army like there's no tomorrow. Massive amounts of our federal budget are going to that. So where are we at now as a result of 40 years of Reagan's libertarian experiment? We got historically low taxes on corporation billionaires, an impoverished middle class, devastated labor unions, the highest rate of child poverty and maternal death in the developed world, millions without access to health care, 1 in 7 children going to bed hungry, and our schools, roads, and bridges are in shambles. Thank you, Republicans.